Just give me some time, I'll be ready. Do my makeup, bathe in my perfume. I'll be done, just sing this song. Me and plastic and makes me shine. We can make a townhouse, follow your design.
لا تنسوا تضيفوني على الانستغرام، رابط تحت صندوق الوصف.
Playing cards. Pathetic. We've got final exams coming up soon. I'm ready. Ask me any questions.
What's next? I have a test on Friday. Ooh, a test! Great! Shakespeare. Bard with the beard. Love it!
When I first start preparing for an exam, I usually feel like there's an infinite number of ways to approach studying for it, and especially if it's a cumulative final exam and I have to go over the material for the entire semester, it can definitely feel really overwhelming and it's hard to decide where to start. So that's why I always like starting off with what I call my game plan, which is where I first prioritize my exams based on their importance. So just as an example, if I have an exam for a class that I'm really struggling with and it's 30% of my grade, then I'll definitely focus on studying for that exam a lot more than an exam that's only 10% of my grade and in a class that I have a really high A in. So I just rank the exams that I have to do based on what I think needs the most attention and the most time. So the next part of my game plan is figuring out which type of exam I'm taking for each class. Is it a multiple choice exam? Is it essay based? Is it open or closed book? And then I try to tailor my study approach based on the type of exam and also the content that's going to be on the exam. So if I'm taking a math exam, for instance, I will usually spend a lot more time going over practice questions than I would for a literature exam. So the final stage of my game plan is I look at my calendar for the next several weeks and then I see what I can realistically do and which days I should study for what. So that way, A, I know what I'm doing each day and I don't feel guilty that I should be studying for something else. And then B, if it's possible, I try to set up a schedule where the days leading up to a specific exam, I'm studying for that exam. And that way, for instance, if I'm taking an astronomy exam, I've only been studying astronomy for the past 3 days and it's really fresh in my mind. So once my game plan is over, I like to make a to-do list for each class going in layers. So you could basically say that my exam study routine is like an onion. So if there were some chapters that I didn't take notes on during the semester or that I really struggled with, I first go over those and I either go to the chapter summary that's at the end of the textbook chapter, I'll just go and I'll make a little outline and write down that information. So it's pretty much just a summary of the chapter. Or if my textbook doesn't have a summary page at the end of the chapter, then I'll just go through the actual textbook chapter and just jot down the main points of each subsection and the main text and everything that seems to be the most important. Also, sometimes my classes come with an outline of each chapter, so then I'll usually just go over that instead of the textbook. After I've briefly gone over the chapters that I had zero idea about or didn't really remember, I then just quickly reread all my old notes and skim through the rest of the chapters to refresh what I've already learned. So now that I've gone over all the outlines and reread my notes and have a basic idea of the topics for the exam, I start finally rewriting my notes and really learning the material and memorizing it. So I usually start off with the black hole areas. No pun intended, since I'm studying for astronomy in this video. The black hole areas are pretty much the areas where I read over them, but I still remember nothing, and I'm still not very good at that chapter or that area. And so next I make exam summary pages, mind maps, or flashcards for the rest of the chapters if I have time. And in this stage, I'm just constantly rewriting and rewriting everything. I personally find that the most efficient way for me to study is by rewriting the information. For some reason, it just really helps me memorize the material a lot more, and I feel like my retention rate is a lot higher if I wrote something down. I also like to make my notes or whatever I rewrite as visual as possible because I've noticed it helps me memorize the topics more easily, and sometimes while I'm taking an exam I'll even remember how the page looked like, so it really helps for me when everything is colorful and there's pictures. Temperature decreases, energy travels out via convection. Photosphere. Around 5,800 degrees.
Spicules and prominences. Coronal mass ejections lead to disruption.
Are you starting?
Yeah.
How old is
Hello.
I'm starting too.
You're